All right, we're back. Kyle, it's been a few days.
It's been a few days. All right, take two. Take two.
Let's go at this. So, talk to me.
Oh, Sonny. So I know like we haven't. I did a live stream without you, and I really missed you being there. But I think it was great. We got some people in there. We got a really exciting, show lined up. News is breaking. We're gonna jump right to it in a second. They pushed so hard and now they're pulling back a little bit. I don't know if everybody saw, but like there was a video put out by Anonymous yesterday that was like, damn, and I'm sure that ruffled some feathers. Canada is available for pre-order now on Amazon. If you search that, we'll talk about the book and new governance models after that, after we get into it. But first, let's dive in to the Emergency Act has been revoked. It should never have been invoked in the first place, but it has been revoked. Let's go live to Ottawa, Sonny. All right. Hit it. We got audio?
Is the audio not coming through, Kyle?
Audio is not coming through. I can't hear you now. Can't hear you. Technical difficulties.
Sorry. Go back to talking.
Right. We've got some brief technical difficulties here.
It's been a few days, But wait, let me check here. Why not? Oh yeah, go ahead.
What else happened? Like so since this happened, so on, I guess it was Monday, they had the vote in the House of Commons. They made it a confidence vote, which meant that if the vote had failed, it would have triggered a snap election. The NDP, given their number of seats, they were able to, but if they've all voted with all the Liberals, it was going to pass. And the NDP, I'll say this, are probably a little bit uncomfortable right now because they've been traditionally a party of the people, and they have shown that they're actually a party of the globalists under Jagmeet, who is a proud World Economic Forum member. And and I think they're all gonna like, a lot of them would lose their seats and lose their jobs. So by voting for it, like against anything else, they were basically voting for their own paychecks to continue. And money is a very powerful force, even if it goes in the face of morality or anything. So all the NDP did, Joel Lightbound as well, like, you stood up, you showed great courage in standing up, but then you voted for this thing. I don't know if you're under whip by your government, and that means that you have to vote with the government, or like there's some sort of consequence. But anyways, it's just another sign of our broken, compromised governance system, the Westminster government model, which we'll get into a little bit. Sonny, have you figured it out?
I don't know. I'm going to give it another try. Let me know. Can you hear it now, the audio?
No.
I don't know. I don't know what happened with our whole setup. Do you see my screen? Look.
Yeah. Are you in Is that Brave?
Yep.
That's Brave. Now go back to Loopback. All right, and then go into settings in. It's probably because your settings in Restream aren't set to Loopback right now.
I have a Jerry hack kind of a way, the way we used to do it.
No, but just go to the settings in Restream.
Go to the settings in Restream. Yep.
And just check your audio input and make sure it's on Loopback.
Oh, audio output? You mean, or output?
Audio input. Make sure it's Loopback audio.
Blockades and
there you go.
How's dangerous and unlawful activities in our capital city and many border crossings across the country. The federal government invoked the Emergencies Act.
Hey Kyle, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. We're good.
I can't hear you now.
Necessary thing to do.
Go back.
With 3
fail.
No, it was working. All right, 1 sec, folks. Let's just get through. We're gonna get through this. Get this dialed. Again, it's been a couple days since Sonny's been on it, and
give me a second.
He went through a vibrational journey where he went down a little bit, but he's coming back, and he's back. I can hear you, Sonny. I can hear you.
I couldn't hear you, but I figured it out.
I can't hear you.
Peace and order.
You cannot
hear it now. I can hear you. Yeah, you're good.
Beautiful. Yes, we're back.
The right way.
Okay.
Wow, 43 people are watching us fumble around. watching me fumble around. Wow.
Anyways,
okay,
it's all good. We got this. Is very exciting.
This
is basically
I apologize,
the
everyone, from the
beginning.
bottom of my heart.
I don't even know if we want to watch like all of it because it's kind of long. But like,
where do you want me to go to, Kyle?
Just start here. He's going to talk about. This is going to be a self-congratulatory speech, probably.
Got it. So on brand.
Just beware of that. On brand. But just I'll wrap with saying, okay, they had the emergency vote, and now it was in the Senate. And dude, the senators were having a pretty good debate. And there were a bunch of senators coming out, like talking, like bringing in other issues and other bigger things, not really talking about the fact of what the Emergency Act was doing and the reason for it and the justification for it. But there were a bunch of people that were standing up, and there were people that were traditionally liberals who were standing up and talking about it. And so the Senate's purpose is to act as a sober second thought, a sober second, judgment on laws. And so they were actually actively having this. The Senate is appointed. It's not elected in Canada. Like it's supposed to be nonpartisan, even though there's lots of partisan taints to it.
It actually is over.
Keep going forward. I can hear that.
We are certain of that.
After
going to we found it.
Okay, bring it on.
The federal government responsible.
We can't see it, Sonny.
I know. This is terrible. Okay, here we go. Ready? Play. Oh my lord, that was so difficult.
So, about the number of
okay, this is the Senate's discussion. Jump forward a little bit.
Ottawa that are surrounding the Greater Ottawa area.
Kyle, please, if I do that, it'll just mess up again. Okay. We're here.
Hello, I'm Martin Stringer, and this is Headline Politics. We have a lot coming up for you, but we're going to start with the Prime Minister meeting with journalists amid reports that he is set to revoke the Emergencies Act after invoking it last week. He's there in Ottawa. Let's listen in now.
On the phone. Prime Minister.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde.
Bonjour.
Je suis très content aujourd'hui.
I'm delighted to be accompanied by Deputy Prime Minister Freeland and Ministers Blair, Mendocino, and Lametti. I'm going to talk about the barricades, the blockades, and our response.
Dangerous and unlawful activities in our capital city and at many border crossings across the country, the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act. It was the responsible and necessary thing to do. We did it with three principles top of mind. First, restoring peace and order. Second, doing it the right way. And third, making sure that it was time limited. The first point, restoring peace and order in our streets and restoring confidence in our institutions was top of mind. Public safety, as well as jobs and the economy, were at risk. People were being harassed, small businesses were closing, factories were shutting down, and trade was halted at our borders. Here in Ottawa and in other places in the country, there is evidence of individuals wanting to undermine and even harm Canada's democracy. Their participation was believed to increase the potential for unrest and violence. We worked closely to support provinces and municipalities to get the situation under control, but as the week
Am I allowed to do this?
And violence. We worked closely to support provinces and municipalities to get the situation under control, but as the weeks went by, it became obvious that provincial and local authorities needed more tools in order to enforce the law.
UN soldiers.
And that's exactly what the Emergencies Act provided to them.
And
last Monday, the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act because local authorities, provincial authorities needed more tools to protect Canadians. As Interim Chief of Police Bell said, the Emergencies Act was a turning point in ending the illegal occupation. Now, order has been restored and the blockades and occupation are over.
When we invoked the act, we needed to make sure we did it the right way. We'll always defend the rights of Canadians to peaceful assembly and to freedom of expression. As I said before, the Emergencies Act was created to flow from and uphold the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. These measures had to be and were compliant with the Charter. Parliamentarians debated and the House voted. We followed procedure, and it is critical that we continue to do so. That's why a joint committee of parliamentarians will be struck to review the declaration of emergency. Within 60 days, there will be an inquiry into the circumstances that led to the Emergencies Act being invoked. It will look at how we got there and why it was required. It could look at policing. The inquiry could also examine the funding, influence, and disinformation that supported the illegal blockades and occupations, both foreign and domestic. D'ici 60 jours,
in 60 days, an investigation will be launched into the reasons why the act was invoked. It will also look at police activity. Further, the investigation will allow us to examine the funding, influence, and disinformation which supported the occupation and unlawful blockades, whether from Canada or abroad.
We were very clear that the use of the Emergencies Act would be limited in time. When we invoked it, it would be in place for up to 30 days, but we said that we would lift it as soon as possible. We've held updates and briefs with ministers and officials every day, often multiple times a day. And today, after careful consideration, we're ready to confirm that the situation is no longer an emergency. Therefore, the federal government will be ending the use of the Emergencies Act.
Just like that, he has declared in his supreme power the end to the Emergency Act. Just like he declared it in his supreme benevolence that he enacted it and renamed it too in the lead up to this.
And the emergency, anyways, I'm gonna just keep playing.
All right, let's...
We are confident that existing laws and bylaws are now sufficient to keep people safe. Of course, we'll continue to be there to support provincial and local authorities if and when needed. And I want to reassure Canadians. Law enforcement agencies are prepared to deal with anyone engaging in unlawful or dangerous activities. Police officers will continue to be there to protect our streets and neighborhoods within their jurisdictions. Aujourd'hui, après avoir...
Today, should we keep going, or is he going to say the same thing again?
Well, then Chrystia Freeland.
Can we stop for a bit then? Let's pause. Because the whole point of this, not to just because people can go to CPAC and watch.
Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly.
The point is to get our feedback on it a bit. But what just happened? Tell us what happened. Wait, and we should probably back up a bit too, Kyle, because I don't know about you, but like we haven't done an episode in a while, and if people are tuning in and they might be super lost, like because like tons has happened.
So first off, let's address this question: dancing is legal again? Yes.
No,
dancing
no.
Dancing was never illegal. Now is the time to dance. Get your speakers out. Go dance. Bring it together. Like, let's celebrate this. Again, they're going to keep using these messages. And again, this is like, this is going to resonate strongly amongst people that, that this has happened and this is like, win for freedom, which it is. I mean, there's no discounting, like this is good. They should never have brought this in. The protests were never like illegal. I mean, aside like, and there's the blockades again, this like, this demonstrations that took place, like some of them like bordered on that, but there was no violence. It was non-violent. It was peaceful. It was harmonious. It was unity driven. It was inclusive. It was a 17-day freedom festival that took place in Ottawa. Justin, I'm sure, was wanting to get out of this thing, end it, not wanting to go on forever. he figured he had to call this, bring in whatever tools he needed, basically brought in a bouncer squad to clear the club that was Ottawa. So, and then like, upon the magnifying glass coming out on this, and like the world reacting to this, and, the additional lens is placed on the people around him, there's some pressure, but like, yeah, I mean, he's in hot water, and ultimately this government the government system has failed us, and it no longer represents the people. It was so fun and festive. It was such an amazing time. To all the people who participated in it, like, head home as heroes and tell the stories of what actually happened there, because I know many people don't know what happened there. They believe and I've talked to a bunch of people like who weren't there, who have just been consuming, the narrative. They see a couple of a couple signals come through from the reality of the situation, but a lot of them are just feeling, still underneath the spell of the mainstream hypnosis. And so tell them the stories, have a party, have a gathering, and then also like get civically involved as well. We saw they're great. They're one of the things that Christia talks about later, because I did watch the press conference, was, that they are unfreezing most of the bank accounts. Not all of them, but most of them. And the jurisdiction of the Emergency Act or the justification of the Emergency Act to shut down those accounts is lost. But they're going to be introducing new orders. So beware of their next moves, because they're likely going to continue to use their corrupt parliament, with the help of the NDP to jam through new orders that, show like, hey, look how effective we were at quelling that fake emergency. And, we're going to continue to use those powers. So we really need to hold them to account. We also need to think about, the new systems of how we can fix this whole mess and return voice to the people of Canada, because this Westminster parliamentarian system is like using Morse code in the age of the internet. We don't need to be doing this anymore. There are better ways. And, and that's why I've written this Canada booklet. It's the first piece. It's just like, an introduction to, to what we can do, and what I want to do, what I'm going to do, and I'm inviting people to do, and I'm setting up a form for it that I'll share soon, is I want you to write your booklet on Canada as well, and on what you would like to see of a governance system. And let's turn this into a radically inclusive booklet series of short books that ultimately can come out in a large book that tells the story of what took place, but also is a vision for the future about how we can transition to an abundant age, and some of the questions and challenges that we're facing, along with the opportunities that we're facing. If you could vote on every single thing that the House votes on, would you? If you could delegate your vote to an individual as opposed to just a party, like carte blanche, or maybe make a mark on a ballot, and then maybe your representative gets elected, and maybe they'll vote in your favor. Like, there's a better way that we can do this. So that's where I think we're going.
Appreciate the attendance. My goodness, I'm not gonna lie. I was losing a bit of steam there. I was like, do people even care about this stupid show? And to see like 90 people online, people lighting up the comments. Wow, much appreciated. But Kyle, no, I feel you, man. Oh man, there's just so much to share. One commitment, right, that I kind of made to you earlier is that I would really try and be like, kind of, live up to my name and be sunny about things, right? And so, did you hear about the truckers that helped the CBC people out of the ditch? It was something that just happened.
Yeah, I saw that. Let's show that. This is great. Like,
yeah, right. So I don't know. I know there's some pretty nasty videos about people treating people from some mainstream media not so nicely. But can you hear it?
No.
I guess it's not that important.
Whatever, it's not that important. But the story of this is CBC like are terrible parkers, and they put their van too far off the road and it slid in. They couldn't get out and they needed help. And Justin wasn't there to send in the UN to help them. So a Canadian just decided, I'm going to help you because that's what we do. We help each other out through communal effort. We solve problems. And so they
By the way, that's twice you made reference to that. I don't want to make light of stuff like that too, because we mentioned it. We should probably dig into that a bit, because I don't know, Kyle, if that's true or not. I did see the pictures of UN.
I don't know if that's true,
but I also heard that like we do a lot of work with UN or this or that. My point is like, let's try and stick to the facts. And if we're gonna make claims like that, because that's a big one, right? Like, what you're insinuating something, which I kind of agree with you.
Indeed.
But
I mean, it's like hey, look,
back it up. This isn't just a live stream. We got 100 people watching.
let's back it up for a second and say like, okay, look, the on the scene on the ground at the end when the security forces came in to clear the club and get everybody out. There was a bunch of them that didn't have name tags on, that didn't have Canadian flags on their outfits, that didn't have any insignia representing them. They just had numbers, and they weren't speaking either. And one of them was so gallant as to march all over a flag, as well. So there's questions about where and this was after this fake emergency act was launched, and so there's and then there was a bunch of sightings of UN planes in Thunder Bay, like fresh, dusted, cleaned, like they weren't just sitting there. They had recently arrived, and they were large. They could have carried like hundreds of people, like that whole green squad. But that's hypothetical. That's pure hypothesis. I'm not saying that happened. But we see
it's possible, and it is something to keep an eye out for, because I by the way, I followed the live streams that day when the whole clash happened right on Parliament Hill, and it took me a few
North
days.
Bay, you're right. North Bay, yeah, it was North Bay, which is a lot closer to Ottawa. Sorry, John. Thanks for clarifying that.
No, I was gonna say it did take me, the incidents that occurred on Parliament Hill did throw me, like it did take me aback quite a bit. Like, I mean,
of course, and that's what it was. That
but to see that
was what they wanted. They want honestly, like this is a vibrational battle. Like this was operating at such a high frequency for 17 days that they needed to come in and like stoke fear and like Hayden get like those images for the press of like this is what's going down and like showing like but honestly, like for the most part it was like, yes, there were incidents like that poor Candace, like like that's terrible, like the horse,
Candace?
that horse, the
that's
woman,
the name of the lady,
the woman who got trampled by the horse.
Oof, yeah.
Like that is terrible.
What's her
just
story?
obscene.
She's like indigenous. She was on a scooter or something.
She's a Mohawk or an Algonquin, like elder grandmother, and she had her walker, and the horses trampled her, and she was injured. But she's strong now. She's stronger than ever, and she's standing up for what it is. And these messages are shining all over the place. So kudos,
Oh, this is what she just tweeted, actually. Care to correct the no injury statement, Ottawa Police? I was nearly killed by your... We'll just leave it. Stop there.
Right. And, and that, and then there were a couple other incidents all caught on camera, because everything was caught on camera, of like, some heavy-handed, like, really aggressive police officers. And I'm sure that when they were like sourcing, they weren't like sourcing, like, give us your gentlest, most heartful police officers to come to Ottawa from all over. They literally probably sent in like their most aggressive.
Alexa from Rebel, I literally was watching her live stream as she was shot by a tear gas canister, 200 feet per second, like super scary. But that's kind of all over the news and stuff, so I'm sure people followed that. That was really heartbreaking to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
we're gonna. The old man got his skull crushed, and he reports this. I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, it was terrible, and there was bad happenings. And I don't know if you've ever, like, I was in Halifax, like, for university, and like, there was a club called the Dome that was open until like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was packed. And when it closes, dude, they force everybody out, and they're strong about it. And like, and if someone resists, they get tossed out. And the club of Ottawa, of this like peaceful protest, like no, I'm not saying it wasn't beautiful and what was happening, but like, the message was received. We succeeded incredibly well. Mandates dropped, political puppets fell, light got shone on it. Canada turned from being a laughing stock in the international freedom community to a beacon of hope for the world in freedom. Justin continued to push and like Christia, because it's more than Justin, it's Christia is like, she is the Minister of Finance, she's the Deputy PM, she's like, tight in all the circles. She kept pushing, and they pushed, and what results of all that pushing is it encourages, like, the rest of us, the people, to innovate and create. And so, like, without them having pushed us this far, this wouldn't have happened and got us to this point. And they put themselves in a corner. They've been exposed for a lot of what they are. The media has been really exposed. Canadians are waking up more than ever. You can't go back to sleep after waking up. They can push you back down to lower vibrations through fear messaging signals, etc. But it's important right now, if my words can have any impact, that we recognize this as a massive success, and it was an incredible experience event. That chapter is now over. Now we're into the new chapter. We're into and all kind of. It's funny. It all ended on a moon cycle too. Like that was the last moon. That was like the trucker moon. Now we're moving into like, okay, now next steps moon into the how are we going to, and I made the declaration that this is, for me, this is the Canada moon, and like, wrote this book and booklet. It's short. It's like going to be 15 pages. It's going to be out on March 1st. And then I want others to add to this series. You can be an author too as part of this series. Let's get more inputs, more voices, more reflections, more ideas, because ultimately I'm just one person, Sunny's just one person, you're just one person, but together all of our ideas and energy of those who actually want to participate should be listened to, should be, a part of the discussion. And we have the technology now to create these new systems. Like, one of the things that we're seeing is all this digital identity talk. I'll be honest, digital identity is coming. Like, no matter what, it's coming. We're in this digital age, and it's really important that we steward this technology and take control of this technology to make sure that it's not a weapon that's being wielded by a fascistic control group, and instead it's technology that allows us to participate and act civically and engage effectively and efficiently without gigantic data leaks and privacy leaks. Like if that Give Send Go showed us anything, like the fact that they hacked that and all that personal information, like in a digital ID world, it's possible that you can make that donation, it can be verified, whatever, but you don't need to give them all this sensitive information, and it can't be stored in a centralized silo that gets hacked and then exposes everybody. It was completely wild.
Kyle, did you hear this from the Canadian Bankers Association? I mean, this is on that topic of digital identity. I just thought, did you hear this news or no?
Canada is on the cusp.
Can you hear it?
Revolution.
Yeah, I can hear this. I watched this.
Canadians authenticate themselves online,
and this is the Canadian Bankers Institute, a group I have like very little
digital world
love.
We're tethered to an analog model of how we identify ourselves, memorizing countless online passwords, carrying government-issued licenses, plastic cards, and more. Digital ID is a way for Canadians to identify themselves to government.
Okay, I can't. I just puked in my mouth. Let's just stop. But you get the point.
Well, exactly.
This stuff is here, and it takes to your point, though, is we don't have a lot of time to kind of redirect the ship here either. Like, this stuff has been, like, I'm excited about the dropping of the Emergency Act, but I'm not going to lie. I am so on edge a little bit, right? And there are a lot of moving pieces, and I think a lot of people are waking up. That's the most exciting thing about
So check the private chat. Just throw the link up to my last book, which was The Unified Wallet: Unlocking a Digital Golden Age. It's also like a short read, but it just explores what's possible when we are in full control of our data and our identity and our money. And I think that is like, critically key. And that's why, like, if you're using crypto, like, make sure you have a self-custody wallet, like, be in control of your own keys. Because if you have it with an exchange, people can take it away from you. And there can be censorship of it. But this is a book that I wrote. I'm just trying to follow some of these things. Digital enslavement. I mean, that's like, we are in like a very connected digital world. Like, look at what we're doing right now. Like, we have the opportunity to, like, you can kind of go off grid and live a pure, grounded, like, physical reality, multidimensional life yourself, and that's totally cool. But we are in a very kind of interconnected world, and digital identity, if properly, designed and implemented, is going to be a necessary tool that both protects our privacy and enables more seamless, interoperable engagements without us being in the current system that we're in. Like, these messages are coming in on YouTube. Like, YouTube is Google. They hold all of our information. Facebook holds all of our information. The telecom companies hold all of our information. Like, we are in digital enslavement right now. Like, it's already the reality of the situation. It's our data isn't being owned by us. If there's a way through digital identification, and digital ID isn't just one ID, it's like all the different things that make up all your passwords. Each one is its own little identity. And what I posit as my hypothesis is that if you have your own wallet where you're keeping all these different keys, it's up to you to be able to show them and prove them. It's important that we have them, and that there's not some like emergency act that can be called that deletes people in a Black Mirror style. Like, we've got to be really, conscious and careful about that solution, because that's the danger, and that's something I've talked about and warned about through this whole thing, and that's why I feel like I want to be in this. Same with like CBDCs, which I think are a terrible idea. That central bank digital currency, like, that's the government, that's like getting a Canada app for money, and like, you use your ID to register for it, but you have a balance, but they can add to it or pull from it. Versus Bitcoin, it's like you download a wallet and someone sends you Bitcoin, you have the Bitcoin, nobody can take it away from you. You can send it to whoever you want. Like, there's no, like, that's the different of it. And we're same with privacy coins too, where like, it obfuscates some of the the public nature of Bitcoin. Now, that said, I think we need to have the government absolutely adopt blockchain technology for its own internal mechanisms, because there are hundreds of billions of dollars that have gone unaccounted for. And a blockchain recording the transactions, all government transactions, if they did it all on Bitcoin, even if they didn't make the actual money transfers in Bitcoin, if they use the Bitcoin ledger just to record the transactions, there would be a public record of it all. And this is all stuff that can be done. Obviously, the government's never going to want to do that, though. They don't want more transparency on their system. They don't want more accountability on their system. It's become corrupt. It's become a system where people are getting kickbacks left, right, and center, and then people are getting paid off. So it's like, we need to apply this technology within the government first and foremost, because we need accountability within it. But ultimately, we need to transition away from this entire government structure into a DAO-based structure. Is my thesis, is my belief, and that's what I'm trying to make the case for, into something called a liquid delegative democracy, where we have the ability to participate in the decision making. We have the ability to put forth referendums. We have the ability to put forth proposals for investigations, for changing policy, for building highways, or naming boats, or purchasing weapons or purchasing supplies, or dedicating grants to the people of Canada to improve things, to clean up pollution, to improve the environment, act by actually doing things as opposed to just screaming climate change, we need a carbon tax that's going to go into a big slush fund that we're never going to track any of the money for. There's a big difference here.
Is that like end rant? Are you good? Because that was freaking long, but it was good though. I liked it.
Thanks,
no, I'm kidding. Okay, sorry. Regulator in Canada warns crypto exchanges not to promote self-custodial wallets. So I am doing a PSA, public service announcement right now, and telling everybody, do not use self-custodial wallets, people. You want to leave your crypto on the exchanges where it's super unsafe and other people can take it away from you, potentially through these orders that they've just demonstrated. So do not use self-custodial wallets. I just wanted to make that point.
And you say that because you're, and you say that
because I'm Canadian and I'm super sarcastic.
Oh, I thought you were saying because you're affiliated with an exchange.
Well, okay. I just thought it was kind of funny that they went out of their way to try and let Brian and Jesse know that they shouldn't be telling people, when I thought it was the honorable thing to do, right? I mean, I don't know, and that is kind of the nuance that I think Kyle was alluding to is that. And again, just by, I guess, talking about this stuff, we might even get in trouble. But look, if you can look back 10 years ago, I've been making videos about, Bitcoin and how it works and all that. So this is just about how it works. This isn't us. But Bitcoin, there is this where when you buy Bitcoin on an exchange, most exchanges, the Bitcoin is kind of not yours yet. It's still on the exchange. So what people are suggesting in these articles is to take it off the exchange and use it on something like Edge Wallet, like somebody's saying here, or a wallet where you hold the private keys. But again, my announcement is to not do that because the government's telling us to tell people not. So that's my actual official position. Unofficial position, figure it out. Okay, Kyle, keep going. I got a lot of stuff I wanted to share. You're super into masks, right?
Masks?
Like wearing masks all the time, telling your kids to
Zorro,
wear it.
like Zorro masks.
No, like the masks, like the ones that kids have to wear in school. So here is Bill Gates explaining why you are overreacting.
Masks. I think there are a lot of people in America who are confused about whether they should be wearing a mask. And in the United Kingdom, for example, they've scrapped that altogether.
Well, that's interesting. What is the downside of wearing a mask? I mean, it's got to be tough. You have to wear pants. This is tough stuff. These societies are so cruel. Why do they make you wear pants? I'm trying to figure it out.
There you go.
That was literally. Are you fucking
I think
kidding
that's
me?
brilliant. No. I support Bill Gates with everything he says. He's the richest man on earth, or was, or whatever.
Gosh,
and therefore he must be right. I go with that line of thinking.
We all wear pants. Like I like to wear shorts. Maybe I don't like to wear pants. Who are you to tell me I have to put plastic over my breathing holes? You psychopath.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Can
I just say one thing?
Sadly, the other thing he said. Sadly, like Omicron is proving to be a better natural vaccine for all this than my products.
Sadly. The more he talks, the more entertaining it is. Anyways, keep going. I've got a couple of things I wanted to, sprinkle in there as we.
Yeah, there's a couple questions in here. Tara, I need help with Edge Wallet as well, Kyle. I mean, Tara, if you want to ask, like let it know. I fixed my tap alone. I don't know what that means. Hardware wallet, so Edge Wallet is a mobile wallet. Hardware wallets are like physical units. They're kind of like they're more like safes. So think of your like Edge Wallet as mobile wallet as being like kind of like a checking account, and like a hardware wallet being more like a really strong safe. They're both very secure. But these are the tools, and it's good. Like it's good to have multiple things within your crypto stack. It's just like money. You don't keep all your money in one place, and the same thing should be with crypto. And also I would also say crypto's volatile, and right now we're going through a lot of inflation, and I don't necessarily think that it's all like the buying pressure from freedom movement is necessarily going to move the price up, because a lot of people are moving out of speculative assets, and in times of inflation, people generally run towards dividend yielding stocks. Big money tends to run toward dividend yielding like commodities and stocks. So going back to the basics, food, medicine, agriculture, energy, real estate, construction, building, infrastructure. That's where a lot of it goes to right now. Like, I'm hearing that a lot of like the innovation funding, like, that real money investors aren't looking for companies that don't have any revenue or that they're building something really great. They're looking for, revenue and dividend yielding. So that's like, one way to hedge against inflation. So that to say, like, I don't have a crystal ball, but crypto might not thrive from a price standpoint. But that said, we should be moving into have some crypto and start using it, because like hodling crypto, just holding on to it and still you remain to use your bank cards and use your credit cards, like just actually start using crypto. Ask others if they'll accept it. Like, Dogecoin right here is it's a great currency for small transactions, low fees, fun, easy to use, and but using it, like crypto provides a great opportunity for transactions and for sensorless transactions. So the more we move again onto those, and it also is a great platform for crowdfunding as well, and for like project funding of capitals. And it's also the basis on which DAOs are formed. And so like I definitely recommend getting educated on the concept of DAOs. What were you showing there, Sonny? That was all the bank outages.
Nothing.
Like, I think that was probably also one of the things that was going on, why there was pressure to end this, because there's been a lot of concern. Jordan Peterson, seems like he got really angry the last couple of days. Like, he was a man on fire. And he said that according to some of his contacts in the military, they advised him to get all of his money out of the bank, of his bank accounts. When Jordan, with however millions of followers he has, is saying that, people are going to be like, "Yo, I trust Jordan. I'm also going to get my money out of the bank." And dude, if everybody starts taking their money out of the bank, that's a run on the banks. You know what the truth is? The banks don't have the money. If everybody withdrew cash, there's not enough cash. There's just simply not enough.
What do you mean? No. The banks have all the money, dude.
No, they don't.
No, this is my new position. I'm gonna be woke, okay? I'm gonna be Mr. Sunny woke so that I'm always in the clean. No, Kyle. The money's there. It's called bank for a reason. Come at me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you're making this shit up. What do you mean there's no money? What's this fractional banking?
They do not have
that's
the deposit
that's a conspiracy theory. You are a kook.
If everybody tried to withdraw their balances, their deposits at the banks, they would not be able to.
But why is that?
Accommodate
why
that?
would that even be?
Because there simply is not, and like most of the cash in Canada is digital, and meaning it's just like numbers on a ledger. There isn't actually like a one-to-one, a $20 bill for every $20 in Canadian supply.
Hey, by the way, the Canadian Civil Liberties Association said, let's be clear, there is no legal justification for using the Emergencies Act. Because people are like curious, like, why could this be? So that's why I'm showing like the banking stuff. I'm showing this is the kind of the legal position that some of these associations that specialize in this are saying, that, the risk of abuse is high. The emergency declaration should be immediately revoked. So, these are, I mean, who knows what the actual reason was, right? It's probably a culmination of things. But I'll tell you on a personal note, I was packing my bags. My bags are going to be packed. I consider myself a global citizen. Look at this. Okay. I choose to live where it makes most sense. And if shit like this goes down, Kyle, I'm sorry. Nowadays it is as easy as packing your bags, one-way ticket, never to return. My point is like, The Sovereign Individual. Have you read that book? Or you must have heard about it, no?
I mean, I'm familiar with the concept.
Dude, the idea is that governments have to fight for entrepreneurs, for people, for like eventually, right? Because like people could just dip, they just leave, and there's gonna be I think a competition for that, and so yeah, so part of me was just thinking, hey, like if this is gonna be this bad, and they have the ability to do whatever the hell they want, why would I want to live here? I don't, right? Like whether it's Latin America, India, fuck, I'll go away and I'll be way happier elsewhere because this is not the type of country I want to raise my kids.
I mean, I left.
Check. Yes. Sorry, I'm just a little bit irate. But
it's okay. I mean, dude, I came back to Canada in the summer of 2020. It was like, it was there. It was so weird. Like, people for 14 days, they thought I was some sort of walking threat vector, and they'd stay away, and my cousins didn't want to see us because they were in a bubble. The conditioning was so crazy, and we were like, dude, we'd just driven all across America from California to Ottawa, and had gone through Texas, and we were at a spring in Texas in May of 2020, with 1,000 people, and in this hot springs. It was amazing. It was it was incredible. But as we got closer and closer to Canada, it's like the more the masks came on, and then we got into Canada, it was like, man, it was so heavy. I remember my wife got chased out of a grocery store for not wearing a mask. She's pregnant, and we don't believe in them, and they were just, it was the level of conditioning and the hypnosis that people are in Canada was just so sad. And I know a lot of you probably feel that, and it resonates with you. And so we had to leave. Plus I've got my wife has a son down here with her ex, so we came down here, and then in San Diego it's been pretty much wide open, and in Florida too it's been wide open. LA, San Francisco are another stories, but and I've been involved in activities down here towards standing up for freedom. And but again, it's I want to come back to Canada. I want to come back to Canada this summer. I want to get married on Parliament Hill again, because my wedding got canceled because of COVID. So I want to get married on August 8th, 2022, 8/8/22, on Parliament Hill. You're all invited. Heard it here first, folks. Once the mandates are dropped, we're going to start going into planning for that. Bring out your speakers, bring out your costumes, bring out your flags, and let's have a great party. And if anybody else wants to get married on that day too, we can do a gigantic wedding celebration. We can renew vows. We can come together as a community, and find our hearts together.
Dude, you're killing it on the intrawebs, it seems. Still a lot of love. Okay, where are we going next? Obviously I have a lot of stuff.
What do you got for us?
I've got literally, it's been 4 days, so I can keep going for days, but I thought this was super inspiring. I don't know if you saw this, but these were the images of, so while, what's the proper technical term, shit was hitting the fan in Ottawa, and all of the police from across the country, and as per your insinuation, the world, perhaps, right, UN, then you had this happening in Calgary, right? You had people taking it to the streets. I mean, you can count for yourself there. There's at least 10 or 12 people in that crowd. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that the people, this idea of we the people, Kyle, it's something that I don't think I thought much about, but there's something really strong about it, something powerful about it. And I think these last 17 days have kind of jarred a lot of, we always talk about the 30%, 40%, 30%, right? The 40% in the middle that are I think something's kind of wrong, maybe not. I feel like the tug of war match kind of went hard in our direction. We're talking 10 steps in our direction. It's obviously getting pulled back 2 or 3 this way today, and over the last few days rather. It's a bit scary, and not gonna lie, wasn't really feeling like live streaming, broadcasting, putting myself out there. More just thinking oh my God, am I also doing something wrong?
Totally.
Should I shut up? And then I thought about it. I'm like I said, if I'm not even allowed to speak my mind, if they start coming after me for that, then then I'll just leave forever. You know, it's like if they don't want my tax money, if they don't want my ideas and my time and whatever, then yeah, I guess message received. So what if I was born here?
Indeed. And let's like, again, everyone goes through ups and downs. We all go do it in our lives. Like it happens. Like, here's a comment from Barb who's been saying some kind of harsh things, but like every time there's a protest, they will bring back the Emergency Act. Like, I don't think it's like protest. Like, I don't think what happened was a protest. It was like a movement. It was a demonstration. Obviously there was a message to it, and we want our freedoms back, and we've done everything. We've had 300,000 person marches in Montreal. So it's like, we innovate. When pushed, we keep creating, like, as a civilization, we keep creating. And so like what happened was beautiful, was incredible. And so, yes, weddings, celebrations, parades, like, there's different words that we can use and that we should be branding these things. Like, don't talk about it. They're going to keep referring to this thing as like this illegal blockade occupation. Like, that's their message, their thing. Instead, we call it the Great Canadian Freedom Convoy. That's what the history books will write this thing as. This is the Great Canadian Freedom Convoy. It was an icon for the entire world to watch that inspired people all over the world to do it. Right now, these same events are happening all over the place. Trucks are gathering in America. Trucks are gathering in New Zealand, in Australia, and Germany, all around the world. People are like following the lead on this, and like, and realizing that the values of what went on here, it wasn't about like, it wasn't anger driven. It was love driven. And that's what was so impressive. And that's what
I think that's missing the point of Barb, though. I think what she's saying is that they might use this again in another demonstration or whatever. And I do feel, I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like a part of it is conditioning, right? Because if you think about it, it's like a wave, like a tide. It kind of comes, and then when it goes, there's a couple of things that they leave behind. For example, this digital ID thing that we just showed. I also heard their financial powers, or they were at least asking for it to kind of supersede or like last forever, even without the Emergency Act. I don't know if that got greenlit or not. But my point is everything is leading to that one thing, right? Which is the social credit system, the CBDC, and the Great Reset. Which, by the way, I've been talking to a lot of my friends recently, and they're like, that stuff is all conspiracy theory. No, go to Amazon, just type in Great Reset. You can buy the book for $19.99, and and Carl Schwab or whatever will love you for it. So I do think it's time that those people who've been sitting on the fence, looking at people like us and truckers and farmers now and doctors and scientists and all these people as like weirdos, just look into it, do a little bit of research. It's only been 2 years to flatten the curve. But what else, Kyle? Sorry,
well, it's like, I like that comment there. I want to talk about that. If we stay too long, then like,
Which
Antifa
comment?
start
This one, the Great Canadian Wake Up?
Well, is that if we stay too long, Antifa, start to step in. So bye-bye. It's like, that's why, like, 17 days, dude, 17 days in the heart of Canadian winter. It was not easy conditions. That shit was real deal. And nobody died. Like, everybody, they thrived. They survived. They innovated, they created. It was so beautiful what took place. Like, and again, it's like, when you come together and have more of these, like, as we have more of these pop-up freedom festivals, demonstrations, community gatherings, like experiences that are love-based, positive-based, like community-based, like that's what they're afraid of, is the people coming together.
Kyle, do you know this guy on the right?
We got Steve Bannon and Viva Frei.
Well, Steve Bannon, I mean, everyone knows. But this guy on the right, he was, because I was watching, as you know, like when I wasn't. Oh, by the way, I did not go, right? No, I'm kidding. When I wasn't going to Ottawa, I was watching live streams like the whole time. And this guy was one of the biggest live streamers. He's also a lawyer. I mean, did you watch any of his live streams? But I thought he was good because he speaks about what he saw for 17 days and then what kind of came in the last day. I thought that was a nice, like, I don't know, it's like somebody on the ground. Want to see it?
Yep.
in Ottawa over the last couple of days.
All right. Well, morning, Steve. I may not be smiling today because I'm actually exquisitely upset about everything that's going on, like to the point where I'm gritting my teeth at night and during the day. The clip that you just played, and for the viewers listening to the podcast, was Alexa Lavoie on Twitter, the voice Alexa, the Alexa voice. It's one or the other. And they basically, the police, she's wearing full credentials. She's got her Rebel Media press pass around her neck.
Shot
she's
her.
holding a microphone. And I spoke with her, and she's going to speak out for herself sooner than later. Basically fired a tear gas canister directly at her leg, point blank. I showed up on Friday. I mean, I've been going back and forth from Montreal. I think I've done it now 13 or 14 times, just to document what's going on. At first, it started just to compare what was going on to what the media was saying was going on. And we've lived through it with me for the last 3 weeks. Nothing but, you might find it obnoxious. You might find it occupying Parliament Hill, but nothing but the most peaceful protest you've ever seen anywhere, ever. Hands down. So much so that Ottawa City Council, they were freaking out about literally bouncy castles and hot tubs on Wellington Street on Parliament Hill. Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act last Monday. Before they even voted on the directives or the approval of the Emergencies Act, he came in with the cavalry literally and a military literally. He told Canadians, don't worry, we're not bringing in the military. Anybody who was there and saw what was there, they may not be wearing military uniforms, but they are as good as a military. There was RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. There was police from Quebec. I don't know if it was Sûreté de Québec. Police from other areas, because apparently the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police, wanted to have nothing to do with this maniacal act of tyranny. And the police come in, and I was noticing it. They're just standing in a line. They're blocking off certain streets. You had to pass a checkpoint to get in. I parked my car well outside. I asked for permission at every checkpoint. I didn't do anything that was not allowed in a free and democratic society. But I asked all the police officers, where can I go? What can I do? And I'm walking in.
5-hour episode today.
Like literally stormtroopers out of a
I've got so much.
Or out of Starship Troopers, like the enemy force.
88
in a line,
people are watching.
Heavily armed. Some of them are wearing face masks. They have batons. They have there's snipers on rooftops. There's drones flying in the sky, and they just start inching forward as a wall, very slowly. You barely even notice it's happening, but you stand there and record over enough time, and you see it's like a tide of police just slowly pushing the crowd back. Anybody who slips, falls, or pushes back gets hauled off and arrested. And they just kept doing this, and they kept doing it in a manner to provoke a response from the otherwise peaceful crowd. And that's how it went from Friday to Saturday, and then eventually they took over all of downtown Ottawa. When I was there on Friday, I saw them, the police pushing, and it looks like provocation. They stand there, face to face with the protesters, and then all of a sudden they move forward a foot. And if anybody falls, pushes back, whatever, arrest. And then this business with they're strutting around 8 horses through a crowded protest in minus 16-degree weather on icy streets, as if they don't think or know that that's a risk. And based on the leaked messages between RCMP members, they knew damn well it was a risk and might have been even part of the plan to provoke an incident where a horse gets injured and they can blame the crowd. And then what ends up happening happens. The horses start strutting a little too rowdily and trample an elderly woman who happens to be Indigenous, who's there with a stroller or a walker, dislocates her shoulder. At one point, there were rumors that she might have died, but she survived, luckily for Justin Trudeau, that he doesn't actually have a death on his hands. But by the grace of God, because the difference between surviving and getting killed by a 2,000-pound horse stomping on you is a matter of luck, not skill. And that's it. This is the Canada that we live in now. They want to access cell records from anyone within the red zone. They want to freeze bank accounts of anyone who had anything to do with the protest itself. They're criminalizing the Constitution in real time, and we have enough Canadians, or sadly too many Canadians, I don't know what percentage they represent, who are like, fine with me. It doesn't affect me. I don't like those protesters either, so good for me. They declare it after the Ambassador Bridge had already been cleared.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it because I
know he's going on, and he does a great job, and he's being clear, and he's creating content. All right, I saw a good question. Is 88 people a lot? I mean, I don't know. We did just talk to ourselves before a lot, and we made the decision.
Is 88 people a lot?
I think 88 people is like a really awesome party.
Did you just talk to yourself before? Pretty much. Yeah, no, it's
and here's a good one. So
no, it's not a lot.
Sonny, I shared you a link. Well, it's like, that's what's being here, but it's also being restreamed across all these other platforms. So it's like, we're innovating and recreating. Can you go to the beginning and put sound
when we
on?
say 87, we mean 87,000, by the way. Yeah, continue, Kyle.
Can you go to the beginning and put the sound on of this video?
Yep.
So pause it for a second. So will there be hot tubs and bouncy castles at your wedding? I mean, I would love to have hot tubs and bouncy castles. If anybody wants to bring them, I'd recommend putting them on the back of a truck, so it's mobile. As well, I would love for, and this is the request, and I'll call Gerardo about this as well, but to get one of the Burning Man art cars to be there, because I think the trucks are amazing, but the Burning Man art cars are the most incredible vehicles on the planet. And let's just play this video about the Mayan warrior, which is one of the most badass, incredible Burning Man art cars. Just watch this. Fire, crazy noise, crazy music, lit people. It's mobile, it can move around. This is from Tulum. Gary will definitely be there. So, all right, that's good, Sonny. It's so sick. No, it won't work in -40. I mean, it'll be a little bit tough to pull that off in -40. But in August, 8/8/22, it is so beautiful in Ottawa. It is just the best. So, I think we can all come out in our full festival gear, whatever you want to wear. And then, one of the other things, another just reflection about really awesome parties too, and incredible events is to move. So with Gary and with the decentralized dance party, we move through the cities, because when you stay one place too long, you start to interfere with other people who are there. So, but when you keep moving, so that could be something that occurs, on that time, but also, well, it should be popping up all over the place. Is go out, have dance parades, have dance parties, where you move around. If you get an FM transmitter and you get a bunch of FM receivers, you can bring out your sound boxes, you can bring out your portable speakers, you can bring out your boom boxes with batteries in them, and have seamless sync across them all. And you just need a DJ or a party leader, and with a microphone, and you need a plan of where you're going to roll through public spaces, and you put the word out to come, get dressed up, put on costumes, be ready for a night of radical self-expression, community effort, immediacy, participation, inclusion, gifting, sharing, and cleaning up after yourselves too. Like when we have these parties, we don't leave a gigantic mess behind. It's like, you want to leave it better than you found it. And that's definitely one of the things that I think was really on full display, in Ottawa. And big parties are great because it shows people how to get back to normal, and it brings people together, and it gets people communicated, connected. The Roaring 20s. Yes, the Roaring 20s. It's on. Let's bring people together. Let's celebrate this. Like, this isn't going to be the dystopic 20s. We have an opportunity to shift this into a higher vibration, roaring 20s, start building new systems that encourage abundance versus scarcity, that encourage inclusion opposed to division, that encourage like self-identity versus identity politics. And individualism as well as collectivism, but not, communism in the form of everybody having nothing and a state or a dictator having full control over everything. Those models don't work. That is fascism. That is what we're seeing. That is what we are. I wouldn't even say that we're like fighting against it, but we are like, building alternative solutions to that. This is, as Gary would say, this is an acceptance movement and not a resistance. This is about accepting freedom and love and abundance into your life and also flow into your life, as opposed to assumptions, beliefs, doctrines, taking things personally, division, scarcity mindset, etc. And so, what do you got here, Sonny? Can't hear you. Okay, let me continue.
Sorry, I was just saying. Okay, well, here.
Have our brothers here. Everyone's together. We're going to hold the line in peace and love.
I don't know.
Yes, we are.
Just a small view of the peace and love element is strong.
Yeah, and big shout out to Rebel News too. Like I saw one of Ezra's tweets. He said they've had over 400 million views in the last week. They are the largest broadcaster in Canada. Like Rebel News is probably the #1 broadcaster by impressions. Like probably the #1 internet broadcaster. The CBC, the CTV Global, they still have their hooks and they dominate the paid corrupted cable networks. And if you still have cable, like cancel that immediately. Like, you just don't need to be like bringing those programs and the channels into your life. Just reject that programming and reject all that money that goes into it. You're basically paying to be advertised to. It's disgusting. Promoting drugs and like, all this propaganda like nonstop. Yeah, it's horrible. On another note, I would like to see, I would love to see like, some civic action take place in Ottawa too. Like we need to rename the Ottawa Senators to the Ottawa Truckers is my suggestion, but let's open up to other ideas. But the Ottawa Senators is kind of like I'm a big Sens fan. I used to be like totally addicted to sports. I don't watch it anymore, especially with like, the level of programming and corporatism and messaging that's been included in it. But like, yeah, we should as a city of Ottawa purchase our hockey team and make decisions on it using a DAO. That would be totally fly. Any questions out there? If you guys want to ask some questions, we can kind of address those too. Okay, talk about this is interesting. Talk about the black helicopters that flew over Parliament on day 1 of the protests with the F Trudeau decals. So I think my personal purview is that the F Trudeau decals and the signs and the flags was largely provocation. And that was part of the coordinated thing, is they wanted those signs everywhere and those flags everywhere within it. And naturally, some people like really resonated and started flying them themselves. But it was antithetical to the message of unity and love and freedom and inclusion. And it was really trying to like paint this about Justin. And, while Justin is like, he's part of the pyramid. He's not at the top. He's not at the top. He reports to bosses, and in our fictitious illusion of democracy, we think we're voting for the top of the pyramid. We're not. We're voting for a lower level. He reports to other people, and that's why it's become, so broken. But that F Trudeau truck that showed up on the first day, that was kind of like suspicious. It's parking And ultimately, like, we discussed, like, how can we do, like, let go Trudeau or a love Trudeau or a free Trudeau. It's like, but even that, it becomes about him, and this is more than about him. This is about Canada. This is about the True North, strong and free. This isn't about individual actors. Shouldn't be about that. It's like, if you're going to fly those flags so hard, you should also have the F Freeland flags and the F Jagmeet flags and, the F Schwab flags. And they didn't have any of those. They had tons of those F Trudeau ones, and that one really iconic photo that was of the swastika and the Confederate flag and a bunch of F Trudeau flags and like one Canadian flag that was totally staged. So that was one of the things that got my spidey sense tingling and thinking that something was wrong with all that. What do we got here? People are seeking alternative investment sources because mainstream investment sources just got sucked into a shit show. Definitely in the last 48 hours. Crypto existing creates an option. Crypto existing does create an option. And crypto carries some volatility risk to it, both good and bad. But it is something that, everybody should get set up with, just with your own self-custody wallet, like Edge Wallet. Get it, start using it. Set up with an exchange like Bull Bitcoin or Coinberry to be able to move from the traditional financial system into crypto and then move it from the exchange into your own wallets. That's good. Also, dude, gold and silver are also, good, good stores. Actually, the physical ones, not the paper ones. They're trading at, I think, like 26% premium right now. But there's definitely a benefit towards having there's definitely a benefit towards having alternative systems in play. We need to stop the Great Reset. Yes, we need to counter the Great Reset with the Great Awakening, and because the Great Reset is, one group's vision, and if we focus so much on the Great Reset and without providing an alternative, then the Great Reset is going to happen because we keep talking about it. So, we need to actually we need to actually focus on, okay, how can we create, let's identify our ideal outcomes that we want and start building towards those. Let's focus on the reality that we want to see and not the reality that we don't want to see. Because if we give all of our energy towards trying to stop the Great Reset without an alternative, then it's like you're asking everybody to vote no for something, but give them something to say yes to instead. And that's why, I've done the Canada and want to create this into something greater. All right, Sonny, play this.
It's gonna play something. Yeah, just to play something here. This is the premier of Alberta. Because a lot of people that I speak with, they believe that the Great Reset is some conspiracy theory and they think I'm crazy. Okay, let's listen to here.
And so, no, I'm not going to be taking any policy direction from Klaus Schwab or his ilk. And what I find offensive, look, the so-called Great Reset is not a conspiracy theory. It is an actual set of concrete proposals being advocated by some very influential people, and including apparently by Prime Minister Trudeau, who clearly alluded to it, referred to it, quoted from it, the Schwab theory, in a speech he gave to the United Nations a couple of months ago. So it's not a conspiracy theory to talk about that. Those are the folks advocating it. And I think it's perfectly legitimate for democratically elected leaders, for me to say, heck no, we're not going to exploit or take advantage of a crisis to advance a political agenda. And so, no, I'm not going to be taking any policy direction from Klaus Schwab or his ilk.
I think I just played that, but anyway, so I just thought it was interesting. I mean, he just pretty much says that yeah, this is a thing, and I'm not really for it, but whether we believe him or not is another story. It's just the fact that I mean, they now it's like a thing. It's not, and if you haven't looked into it, you should definitely look into it because I think it's interesting and in a creepy way. Hey, we got a bunch of more questions. Wow, so much activity today. This is awesome.
Yeah, I had a good someone asked about like, where should I put my money if I'm going to pull it out of the banks, if I'm going to pull my cash out of the banks, where should I put it? And it was like, yeah, crypto is an option if you don't have anywhere else to put your money, but like, there's other things you can do too. Like you can procure like, goods and services and assets like, like I was talking to, one of my friends in Calgary and he was like, I went and like, spent $800 on like, protective equipment and like just like shit hit the fan bag just in case, like like bear horns and smoke signals and this and that, like and the same kind of helmet that those crazy maniacs are wearing like on the front lines. And it's like, that's not a bad idea, like from a protection point of view, but at the same time it's also like look towards like seeds, gardens, like growing your own food. Like agricultural sustainability is really powerful. If we can reduce our necessity on big agriculture by growing our own foods, raising our own animals, and like and feeding ourselves sustainably, organically, like monitoring what's going into the food that we grow and the and the animals that we care for, versus we have no transparency. Like you have no idea what's going into that chicken that's coming from Loblaws. You have no idea what's going on those vegetables that are coming from from Monsanto farms. We have no idea. There's literally no accountability. But you can know with your own garden, with your own growth, with your own animals, what you're feeding them, what you're putting in them, what the nourishment, the love that you're putting into it all. So,
hey Kyle, I just wanted to say I love this comment. I have a very bipolar personality. You guys keep me centered.
And bipolar personalities are something that I think everybody has, like especially like especially us, like Aquarians. Like there's like within each of us there are like multiple levels of frequency and vibrations that we can operate. Sonny was saying that like last 3 days like he just wasn't feeling it. His vibration was like down a little bit, and like that's a different personality that is acting and speaking. And like and then there's times when we're at really higher vibrations and like everything is connecting and we're manifesting on the spot, and like everything, like our intentions become reality. And but we go through these waves, and then there's other like forces. And like one of the things that they try to trigger, one of the actualities or realities of what happened when they shut down the protest was they suppressed a lot of people. And like they hurt or they like push people's kind of vibration, and they got them angry. And like when you get angry and you get full of like grief and despair and like the shame, those are lower levels.
Sorry, dude, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead. No, it's all good.
We still have 69 people hanging around, 69,000 people hanging around. That's amazing. No, I just because a lot of people are asking about crypto. You've been talking about it a little bit. I haven't talked much about it. Kyle's obviously you're like really into a lot of things like NFTs and this and that. I'm more of like I run an exchange in India called UnoCoin. It's like a Bitcoin crypto exchange, but I'm personally more like a big fan of Bitcoin, and that's the one that I like the most. And here's the thing: is those people who think that that Bitcoin is part of the Great Reset. I think I have a pretty good understanding of the Great Reset now, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of Bitcoin. And I don't think that's the case. In fact, if you look, like Bitcoin and the truckers and the freedom movement were kind of on the same side, and in terms of this movement recently, and I do think they both represent freedom, and I think Bitcoin truly does. And the reason I have so much faith in that is because the code is open source, and it's decentralized, and it's censorship resistant, and it's all these things that I don't believe that the people in charge would love. So again, but I can tell why a lot of people think that way, because you still have QR codes and all that weird stuff, right? So
yeah, and I mean, I'll say too, like, look, I am like like it's not cut and dry. Yes, it's open source, but it's also like, you know, an open market system, and it's been around for 10 years, and it's been in the spotlight for 7 years, like amongst the banks and big money. And I am quite certain that, you know, that the empire owns a lot of crypto, and they have the ability to push the price up and down and manipulate it and like leverage their tools. So, you know, I'm not a radical optimist about Bitcoin, especially like BTC and it. But I really believe in, like, you know, the fundamentals of the technology, and that's why I also believe definitely not like, you know, a maximalist, meaning it's Bitcoin or bust, like there's nothing else. Like, no, I believe that competition is essential, because like if we just get focused on one, then we're just replacing one pyramid with another. And
I would say I am a Bitcoin maximalist, but not because I want to be. I'm actually like trying to not be, but all my logic and my engineering brain and my years of taking like finance and learning all that stuff, it's like, whew, Bitcoin solved it and nothing else. Like everything else, in my view, from a technological perspective, I could like kind of dissect for you and tell you exactly why I don't want to, because this show isn't about that. But anyways, but whereas Bitcoin, I'd be hard pressed to try and poke holes in it. I mean, anyways, blah. Okay,
well, let me just before we just go on
let's
there.
Go into it. Let's go into it. I want to share a little bit. Oh, sorry. Whoops. Go ahead. Yeah. Kyle? What the? That's creepy, dude. No, I'm kidding.
It's like Dogecoin. I mean, Doge is great too, and it's like you know there are alternatives to these, and the key is the self custody nature of it. But again, it's like, you know, don't try to put everything into it. It's also kind of gambling. Like, you know, look towards, like, you know, radical self-reliance, taking care of yourself. If you've got lots of excess or excess funds, like, sure, maybe then you want to like speculate with them and put them into you know, different vehicles. Crypto represents a different vehicle, but more than anything, crypto is a transaction network. It is peer-to-peer electronic cash. It allows, like cash, like you can transact, send value from one person to another instantly, from one point of the planet to another point of the planet, without any censorship, without any resistance. Like that is what is so powerful about Bitcoin. And, you know, it's governed by a scarce supply. There's no central bank that can just make up and print money. Tether, those guys, they can just print money all day. Like, also be conscious, be aware of Tether. It's the number 3 cryptocurrency. It's a stable coin. There's questions about it. You know, and you know, what happens with that one could really dictate the whole way the whole market moves too. But that's in the crypto side of things, and like, you know, we can have a bigger discussions. I want to get Paul Puy from Edge Wallet on the show at some point.
Oh, that'll be fun. We can start doing some fun stuff like that too. I mean, because that's our main thing, right? Bitcoin. Hey, can I share this with you? Do you know who this guy is? Like, whoa! I saw this whole I watched this whole podcast. It's crazy. Do you know who Majid Nawaz is? I'm like saying it like I'm. Anyways, Majid Nawaz leaves Joe Rogan speechless by explaining how the World Economic Forum is infiltrating governments around the world. Can I share this? It's only
Let's
2
watch
minutes.
This sounds great.
Sweet. I'm gonna try and introduce him, but I'll just butcher it. People should just do their research. He has a very interesting, illustrious past. Yeah.
Direct quote though on his, you'll see it. Our teams are now embedded in governments around the world. That's actually what they wrote.
Yes.
And the video is 2 minutes. I didn't play all of it. It's what he says.
But what he's saying there sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Figuring out on strategic ways to end the lockdown easily.
No,
that makes sense.
Not the end of lockdown. No.
Well, didn't he say that?
Yeah. Keep in mind, Tony Blair is the one who's been advocating for vaccine passports, digital identification through COVID, and all of these measures.
But didn't they say that about ending the lockdowns and keeping businesses?
Once those measures are in place. Right. So he's, even in the UK, his stance has been, yeah, we're going to get out all of it, but you have to have digital ID and you have to have. So during the war,
this is going to introduce the social credit score system.
Right. So what all of that came from your question, which is, regardless of intention, how do people do that infiltration from within? It's not just Twitter. So back to the psychological operations. It's also embedding people in government who are subscribed to this agenda. Yeah. And the agenda of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum is the same as the agenda of Tony Blair. in this regard. They call it on their own website, they call it the Great Reset. That's what they say themselves.
Yeah, that's a bizarre thing to do, to
Yeah.
openly. Why do you think they openly discuss it that way? And openly, because the Great Reset has always been this gigantic
This is about
conspiracy theory
spells.
among the online folks. Like, this is all part of the Great Reset. Well, when he wrote a fucking book called The Great Reset, you're like, hey, man, shouldn't you be hiding this?
And in 2017 at Harvard, he's saying, you know, we're going to basically, all of these world leaders will penetrate their cabinets with our young global leaders. He's open about this. He's open. Blair's open. During the Iraq War, Blair tried to bring in ID cards in Britain. He failed. Now he's back and he's trying to bring in digital ID during COVID, right? So they're open about it.
So this is going to be this never-ending process to slowly move the goalposts
towards more and more authoritarianism. Checkpoint society.
Whew.
It's all there. They told us this.
People have to realize this, right? This is important.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, people can check this out on Spotify. And I hope we're not. Anyways, I really hope I don't get in trouble for sharing this stuff. This is like literally like Joe Rogan has 11 million viewers. People are watching this shit anyways.
Yeah, no, like this.
Because what's our goal with this show, Kyle? What are we trying to do? Let's recenter ourselves. Like, what are you? Like, I'm trying to keep people informed about shit. I feel like there's a big gap between what the news and what you see kind of in normal day-to-day interaction, what you hear. And I feel like there's a lot of really important shit going on. And part of my goal with the, end rants and kind of switching over to these things is to give people a feel of like a pulse of where we are, right? And it's like I said, people don't have maybe as much time to research all this stuff. And then what you do is you provide the commentary, the context, right? You connect it to the world, and give people a lot of hope in the process. But anyways, I hope people are enjoying the show. We do this, it's we don't really make money for it or anything, but if people are able to, we should probably bring attention to what Kyle? Can I get a drum roll, please?
Well, yeah, you go to our website, and like this is gonna keep improving too, and
as seen on the Alex Jones show, baby. What? That should be. We should just have a video of Alex Jones saying that on repeat, like, right? Anyways, and then also this, right? Bringing people's attention to, you can support Kyle. Look, like I said, this is risky what we're doing. We don't know. Hopefully, people don't get upset at us. But if you can support, first and foremost, Kyle, because I'm more like just the guy. But yeah, Kyle's been doing a lot of great work out there. So if people can support, if you're a company, hey, who's the guy? Who's the team? It's Pre-Search, right?
Pre-Search. Yeah.
Oh my God, they've been one of your big supporters, right? We had, what's the name of the gentleman again that came on the show?
Colin
came on the show. And
incredible. If you're looking for a really great search engine, it's called Pre-Search. It also has the pre-token. You can earn tokens by using it, and it's like a super search engine. You can search on Google, you can search on other ones, you can dive into a whole host to really be able to find the information you're looking for, and it's being done. And Colin is like a voluntarist, huge believer in liberty and freedom, and also I'm hoping we'll be writing one of the booklets on Canada, and how we get this all moving. And ultimately I'll invite everybody to be able to participate in the Canada series about sharing opinions, sharing stories and views about what you'd like to see from the Canadian government, and how the different kind of thoughts, reflections, ideas, strategies, concerns, benefits that you may have. I don't know exactly how this all rolls, but I like there's a couple really cool art projects that's one person starts it and they pass it to another person and they keep working on it. They pass it to another person and it goes to another person, it goes to another person, and it becomes like a collaborative piece of artwork. And that's what Canada DAO really needs to be all about too. It's not me. I was really even reticent to put my name on it, but it feels like
Kyle, did you see this?
What's this? This is
okay. I shouldn't laugh, but this our queen. Queen Elizabeth, is it? So she got COVID. Did you see this video? Can you hear it? It's really quiet, isn't it? You see this or no?
Yeah, I see this. I hear it.
1 second. 1, 2, pause. Let's see how good your eyeballs are. What do you see?
4 tablets each containing 3 milligrams of ivermectin.
They're giving the queen ivermectin, horse medicine.
Horse paste.
Horse paste. How could they do that?
Maybe she has worms.
My point is, they just like, dude, like the lies cannot be hidden anymore. I
know.
guess,
Well,
right? What is it?
It's completely insane. I guarantee
Clown
you. I
world.
guarantee you, they're not giving her like
Thank you,
experimental magnetic goo to protect her from the fake virus.
Where else, Kyle? It has been an hour and a half. If you want to bring an end to it, we can, and then come back, or we can just keep going. I don't know. It depends on people if they have time, if they're interested.
I mean, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to just drop them. If there's anywhere you want us to take this, part of this, the great opportunity that we have here is, to include others. Prince Edward Island. Yeah, Prince Edward Island. What a place.
Great job, gents. Wow. This is what we do it for the comments. I don't know. I can talk a little bit about something. I don't know if people are following, but so there's this country called El Salvador that just made Bitcoin their legal tender. Hey, that's so exciting. I'm so excited. Look at this is Max Kaiser and Stacy with the president, prime minister. And why am I bringing this guy up? So he was the only, as far as I know, leader of a nation state that actually called out, look at this, the real war is not in Ukraine. It's in Canada, Australia, France, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah. So I'm just a big fan of this. Look at this. Tourism's up 30%. I heard the GDP went up something like 10 point something percent. I mean, it's just they have a volcano that is powering a Bitcoin bond, which I think half of it goes into mining, powered by a volcano, and the other half goes into buying Bitcoin. I want to move there so bad. I'm not gonna lie. I've already I'm having the conversations with the wifey right now. I want to live there because why would you want to live there? Why would I want to live there? Because now I become, if you understand how Bitcoin works, you become your own bank, right? Because now you don't even need an exchange because you can walk into McDonald's and be like, oh, kids, here's some Satoshis. Go buy yourself a cheeseburger. Have fun. Cryptographically proven, open source, decentralized. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you got to learn about this Bitcoin thing. It's only been around for 10 years. Best performing asset in the history of mankind. It's limited, right? There's only 21 million. I mean, people still need to be taught about Bitcoin because I think people lose it in this whole crypto. Oh, okay, great. It's art and blah, blah, blah. But listen, if you're living in Venezuela or Canazuela, as I do now, my first interview was with Mars, what's his name? Oh my God, the guys from Lenin. I had interviewed these gentlemen who were from Venezuela, and they told me their stories about what it was like to live in there. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It kind of feels like we're there right now in Canada. We're having that kind of moment with these violent scenes that came out from last week. Kyle, are we ending this one or are we going to keep going?
No, we're going to keep going. So here's something
we're rolling with it, man. Comments keep coming. Love it. Keep it going.
I heard a tweet that said El Salvador was getting China money. Is that true? I don't want to live there if that's the case.
What did they say? Wait, China. Wait. Yeah, I heard tweets that El Salvador was getting China money.
Well, again, it's I really let's be careful about our assumptions and what what
I'd
those
love
lead
to see proof on that. I mean, yeah, I'd love to know.
And
also, I'm not denying it because
Canada, Canada is getting tons of China money, and we're giving tons of China money, and the people of Canada are being robbed. So Like,
He
that's
approved supposedly that their military to train up north. Remember last year, which is just
yeah, no, it's like, it's the like the involvement here is far worse. But like, what's happening is like, and that's why I say, Sonny, like if you feel drawn and called to go to El Salvador, do it, man. Do it.
Oh, I'm
Like
definitely interested.
just say yes. Like that's a great idea. Like, if there's innovation
Dude, a ticket
happening,
is $250. Return.
and this is something we've talked about too, like, within like, the Bitcoin ecosystem for a while, was like, as soon as like a country makes it, they're going to attract so much innovation. And they went
Goodness.
and did that, and they're going to attract all these innovators to come, like, come be part of it and build and like, create these new models. And because all these models are open source, it means that we can like copy paste them. So for example, if we build the CanadaDAO in Canada and it works, and it like, and it returns power to the people in a delegative liquid democracy, and we reign in an era of abundance, there's no reason, there can't be the Germany DAO and the UK DAO and the Russia DAO and the North Korea DAO and the Australia DAO and the New Zealand DAO and the Bermuda DAO and blah 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 blah. Like, there can be all these different ones where the people are acting in their own kind of, in their own governance models, and it's just all copy paste. Like, once the great thing about open source tech is like, once it's built, once it's robust, once it's proven secure, you can continue to like deploy them elsewhere. What do you got here?
Dude, look at this. So somebody was asking here, Allison, thank you for the question. Where are most Canadians moving to these days? So the two countries that I've done my research on over the last few days to kind of drill down on, like, as in, again, that notion of being your own bank. And here's the thing, nation state, you tyrants out there, listen. If you scare us too much, we will literally flee. Read The Sovereign Individual. We will just figure out a way, right? we will go elsewhere where our time, energy, money, resources, network is valued. Anyways, Switzerland, so El Salvador we touched on a little bit. They've made Bitcoin their legal tender. I highly urge countries to consider doing this. Don't fight it. Look at Bitcoin. Get some technical people in your team to take a look at Bitcoin. It's been going on for 10 years. Elon Musk has it on his balance sheet for Tesla. Hello, there's a reason for that. This is the future of money. Wake up. Okay, I got nothing against gold and hemp, by the way. That's great too. I love it. Okay, Switzerland, Lugano. Okay, God, kill me. Gears up to become Europe's Bitcoin capital. Let's read this. Tether announces partnership. I saw the Tether guys talking about that. The partnership aims to transform the finances in Lugana. Switzerland itself is a crypto-friendly country. Lugano, okay, anyways, whatever. I mean,
yeah, Switzerland. I mean,
here we go. Read this part. After El Salvador path-breaking decision to make Bitcoin legal tender last year, top players have shown an evident inclination toward crypto adoption in the U.S., Miami, and New York.
Yeah,
Okay,
blah,
so
blah, blah, whatever.
Sorry. Yeah,
but okay, so Switzerland. First off,
yeah.
You can't move to Switzerland. It's not like they're not really open towards people just moving to Switzerland. You can go visit it. I highly recommend it. Switzerland's awesome, but it's not a place where you can just go and move to. El Salvador, on the other hand, like if you have some capital and you want to contribute, you can definitely go down to El Salvador and participate in this freedom renaissance. Down there.
This guy's such a boss. Just imagine living in a country where the guy's like tweeting this shit, like, our country just bought 200 Bitcoins. Like, that's like a dream come true. That's a dream come true. I'm telling you, man. I've been reaching out to all my friends down there and just seeing how they like life, and they all love it.
Yeah.
And
like, and
right
kudos,
now, it would be
kudos
here,
to him
baby.
for creating. Like, he's doing it. He's doing it, and he's taking bold action. And in a smaller nation, they can do it. Like I was like talking to the Bank of Canada like back in 2014, 2015. Like, guys, you should be putting Bitcoin on your balance sheet. Like, you should buy. I think it was like 23,000 Bitcoin. It was going to cost about $100 million at the time. Like, and I said, I had a whole financial doc. I had a whole modeling scenarios done. Like, I explained that by purchasing this amount of Bitcoin, you're going to insure yourself against Bitcoin. So by just holding this, you're not going to be underexposed, you're not going to be overexposed. You're just going to have a certain amount. And I made a whole formula about it. It's on YouTube. You can check how much Bitcoin should I buy, and it's on my thing. And I applied that to Canada. I remember going and talking to the Bank of Canada and talking to the Canadian Pension Plan. They literally laughed at me, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't do that. The reputational risk." Assumptions, like they're so blind by their egos and their things that they're not able to, like, understand that this is about risk mitigation. And like, had we done that, like, Canada would be in, like, a very different financial position. Instead, Canada sold all of its gold. Like, it's just a house of cards, like this fiat money system. And ultimately, we're going to be able to transition away from it because it's really just imaginary. It's a construct that encourages scarcity, like, within society, and we're going to be able to shift away from that, towards different value exchanges, not relying on, like, this single currency, with digital wallets, with crypto, with identity, with, like, accepting gold or silver, or being able to verify, like, other things, like, moving to barter situations through community interactions. Like, I'll speak back a second to to the trucker movement. One of, like, the principles of Burning Man is decommodification. So when you go to Burning Man, you bring your own stuff in. You can't buy anything at Burning Man. There's no vending machines, there's no restaurants, there's no nothing. It's just you. It's you. How do I turn that off for a second? Yeah, at Burning Man, it's just you work together as a community. People provide resources, and you help and you share each other. And that's what happened in Ottawa too. Is people brought their own resources, and people weren't. There wasn't like being at a hockey game and there's someone hawking beers and hot dogs. No, people were giving out hot dogs. They were bringing it. They were asking, like, for donations or gifts, and, like, that's what happened. And that's this model of, like, a decommodified society, and Burning Man is a very abundant society. And that really can be what we have, because we have more access to information, knowledge, resources than ever before. And so, looking at how we can work together towards doing this, like, by, like, dissolving this pyramid into a pool of a general consciousness, and then, focusing more locally on how we can, as communities, sustain ourselves, take care of each other, be radically self-reliant, but also have, options for, if you need help, you can ask for help, from others.
Hey, Kyle, did you already talk about this? Sorry, I was kind of distracted there for a little bit.
I didn't talk. I'm not sure what this is.
El Salvador is building the first Bitcoin city, according to the guy who runs it, whatever. The CEO, he considers himself, of El Salvador. 0% income tax, 0% capital gain tax, 0% property tax, 0% payroll tax, 0% municipal tax, 0% CO2 commissions tax. Oh,
yeah. I mean, those are all, like, and each one of those, like, income tax, like, literally makes no sense. It makes no sense in this day and age. It's a slavery mechanism. Property gain tax. It's this state taxes, wealth taxes, death taxes, like taxes. These are all just tools of control. And with a if the people had a voice and had an ability to put forward propositions and alternatives, and actually have the ability to vote on things, where the votes mattered and they were transparent, and like, we were held accountable to the decisions that were made, we could go ahead and reform the system. And again, we're shifting into this new age, and the systems of yesteryear will not port into this Aquarian age. So it's time to start building these new ones, and start, like, actually having qualified discussions about it, as opposed to just saying, that'll never work. Like, you can't do that. In Canada, and I felt this as an entrepreneur, there's such an innate desire to just say no to everything. It's like, you should exhaust every reason to say yes to something before you say no. If your first reaction is to say no to something, then you're like, you're closing off an incredible amount of opportunity in your life. But ultimately, your free will to say no to everything if you want. But if you start saying yes, you never know where things could take you and what journey you can go on. All right, let's listen to this witch.
No. She's a beautiful lady.
We have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler. Do we need to? How much vitriol do we
This
have
is
to
like
see?
poorly, I'm sorry I called her a witch, but that's like some really poor
Do we need to
words
see
there.
by these protesters?
Yeah, I want
on
to be on the
social media?
positive note. Remember?
I know, and I try that, but I like sometimes I get triggered, and it's like when you're calling when you're saying like that it's like you're the like the love, the energy that all went into everything, and you're just going to like massively smear this whole beautiful movement by saying it's akin to Hail Hitler. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, it's kind of weak. This is cool. People currently with COVID in the city of Ottawa is best illustrated by the portion of this grid below that is shaded in red. Let that sink in. Right? Like as in, say what? Okay, we still have 38,000 poor people online with us. Kyle, you got some more for us or what? Like I said, I can keep going forever. Especially if we're gonna be talking about.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we've been on for a while.
We're not allowed to talk about Bitcoin. Here we go. Mexico's third richest man. You have to keep buying Bitcoin when the price is low and forget about selling. You can say all you want, dude, that you don't like Bitcoin, but like I don't know where you're like not seeing Bitcoin, dude. It's rock solid, solid.
No, and like and like and while the price is falling, like and a good strategy for purchasing Bitcoin is like don't buy it all at once. Like buy it
dollar cost average.
Buy it systematically. Buy like dollar cost average. Buy a little every day. Like it's like the akin of like saving $1 a day and like putting it away. It's that's a good strategy and a good tack to do. But then also, like I would say, start actually using it. Like ask people if they will take Bitcoin, and ask like let's start porting away. Let's start utilizing this new system and reducing our reliance and dependence on the existing one. And there's Bitcoin, there's Dogecoin, there's Ethereum, and then NFTs are also really interesting. And like NFTs from a speculative point of view, I'd be like careful with, because that seems like a market that's fraught for like it seems like a bit of a bubble, but it's really exciting. But I think like the true potential of NFTs lies in digital objects for all sorts of different things, for tickets, for receipts, for warranties, for insurance, for car titles, for land titles, for fractional ownerships, for potentially stocks and memberships within organizations. Like votes could be NFTs. There's many different things.
Yeah, there's lots of things NFTs can be. But yeah, like this person said though, what did they say here? Oh wait, no, that was something else. Okay, no, India's drug regulators have effectively declined Pfizer's COVID vaccine emergency use approval, citing an ongoing investigation into side effects reported in other countries. As a result, the vaccine won't be available in the country. This is a great win for medical integrity. Can we just give the Indian regulators a hand? Hey.
Yeah, and Pfizer's reaction to this was like, okay, we don't need that 1.4 billion potential clients. Like, no, we can't go through a transparent audit about the safety of this experimental fake vaccine that we've been pushing.
Yeah, no, I can speak firsthand. I don't know exactly how it happened, but I know India's a noisy place and there's a lot of things wrong with it. But I do believe that there's something like this, the sense of justice and the democracy is somehow working, at least to a greater extent than most other places that I see, especially more so than even Canada, I think now. I mean, this whole freezing bank accounts thing just has me shook, and I'm ready to just leave Canada forever. And so I hope the government people hear that, because like I said, and now we have options. I don't care if it's difficult. My wife's from Latin America. I'll figure out how to speak Spanish, better. But and here we go. This is the one. Boom. Looking forward to the announcement. First El Salvador, then Lugano. Bitcoin is inevitable, says Samson Mal. Right? Hell yeah, brother. And he's a Canadian. You know that? He's a Canadian, right? He's also, I think, from Vancouver. just lighting shit up. I love it. The Lightning Network. If you don't know about that, that's not a shit.
Oh,
That is
there's
actually something on top of Bitcoin.
I got a
ahead.
video that I want us to play too. Maybe if you can look at my Twitter, it was the dude in
You want to
England.
just send it to me on private chat?
I'll find it.
So and then, as I was mentioning earlier, there's this $500 million in verbal commitments for this $1 billion meme Bitcoin bond, and now $5 billion more bonds could follow. Look at this. You see this one? El Salvador already has $500 million in verbal commitments and $5 billion in more bonds. So thank you, Lord. I mean, that's another topic in itself. But anyway, so I'm a happy camper right now. The last few days were a bit dark. Oh, and then while all that dark stuff was happening in Ottawa, this is what was happening in Toronto. People took to the streets this past weekend. I'll just kill the volume on it. Not much to hear, but just beautiful images of people standing in solidarity and just saying enough is enough. Like, we see it. We see you. Here, wait, someone's saying something here. Sonny, if things go south, my wife is from Peru. Meet you there. My sister-in-law lives in Peru, and I just heard a communist government was put in place like months ago. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling the El Salvador guy for now, but I do feel like there's a movement in Latin America that's taking place.
All right, I sent you the link, Sonny.
Okay, let me check it out. Just give me a second.
I've invited Colin and Gary. Gary's messaging back too. I think maybe we'll if they come on, we should probably just kill this one and just do a restart, just to break it up, because otherwise it's just an insanely long video. And again, if anybody found anything from this and wants to help, like clip and share. All right, check this video. This is great. You need audio there, bro. Can't hear it. That's Chrome. Can't hear you.
Can you keep talking?
I can hear you now. Yeah, this looks like you're in Chrome. Okay, so we might have Gary LaChance dropping in. He says, "K." I told him
just bring him in. No, let's go for another world record, dude. 5 hours. Come on.
Well, again, there is value in just chopping things a little bit, especially when we got someone new on. Then we recontextualize and
some of your own research in the last year or so.
What is Bitcoin?
Here, can you hear it now?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Okay, let's go. I don't know. I don't want to lose the 49 people. No,
they're not. They'll
come back. They'll come back.
It'll be right on. We just tell people what's going on, and if they want to come back, they can.
And if they love us, you gotta just let go, and they'll come back.
Bitcoin, it's a cryptocurrency. Like, I wouldn't get into it myself, This guy actually does. I'm all into crypto, going to the moon, boys. NFTs, you get it, man.
Have you ever bought any Bitcoin?
No. This guy knows more than me.
You bought some?
I've been doing some of your own research in the last year or so. Yeah, I've lost a lot of money, but I've made some. But I'm getting smarter into it now,
Would you like me to send you some Bitcoin?
Yeah, I would. I mean, if as long as it's free, please.
Yeah. I'm giving out little bits of Bitcoin to random people, and so all you need to do is download a wallet, yeah. And I'm going to send you some Bitcoin from my phone to your phone. Okay, sound good?
This guy's a legend, boys. Yeah.
Okay, I give away a lot of Bitcoin, and that's the best reaction I've had.
Oh my god, that's unreal. We're getting Bitcoin, boys. Oh my god. This is legit. It's just.
Yeah, it's all legit. Yeah.
This is your app.
You're ready to go. It's not my app. No, it's just a Lightning app.
This is crazy.
Are we done with this now, or is it?
No, just keep going. Keep going. It's great.
So
you actually send this money.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, I'm actually going to send you some Bitcoin, and that's all right.
This is crazy, man. This is crazy. This guy's a legend. We need more people like him. Yeah.
Don't thank me. Thank Bitcoin Twitter.
Bitcoin Twitter and this guy. How about that?
Yeah, lads, you're legend. Bitcoin Twitter. I fucking love you guys. Yeah, absolute legends. This is the best day of my life, man. Oh my god.
I'm going to hit send, and I'm going to scan your QR code, and I'm going to send you 200,000 Satoshis. All right, that's 200,000 sats. That's a fraction of Bitcoin. Today it's worth 80 euros. Okay, I'm going to give you 80.
80 quid. 80 quid. Oh my god, how do you feel? Wait.
Okay,
You're a legend.
so I'm going to send you 80 euros each, okay? I'm going to hit done. I'm going to hit pay, and hopefully you'll receive it straight away. Hit that. There you go. Show the camera.
Oh my god,
Show the
look
camera,
at
show
this.
the camera.
200,000
Okay, he's got
sats.
yours.
200,000
He wants his
sats.
now. He wants his. He can't wait.
Oh my
Okay. Send. I'm going to send you the same because that would be fair. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't. $76, 200,000 sats. I'm hit send.
All right, so this is I really love that, and it really resonates with me because over the years I've done similar things, not with mics. Once upon a time in Austin, Texas, in 2015, one night I rolled around in a pedicab in a full like red tuxedo with a red top hat on, and ran like a weird activation called the Bitcoin Cash Cab, just like the show Cash Cab, where I would invite people to like, where do you want to go? Like, okay, hop in. And I'm like, okay, the ride's free and we're gonna ask you questions and you're gonna get Bitcoin as a result. And that at the time it was giving away 10,000 bits, was the equivalent of 100,000 Satoshis. So which was 0.01 Bitcoin, which is now worth like $400. And yeah, it was at the time it was $3 for everyone, and it was so much fun. Like just introducing people to the tech and setting them up with wallets, and then also like asking questions. And people were just like, "Where are the cameras?" Like, there's no cameras. We were just doing this. It was all part of a company called ChangeTip way back in the day. It was super. It was quite the experience.
Do you know what Ruby on Rails is?
It's a programming language.
Yeah. Do you know what Basecamp is? It's like
It's a CRM
project. Yeah. So this guy invented both, or he's one of the, I think, founders of both of those. This is what he said. He said, I still can't believe that this is the protest that would prove every Bitcoin crank a prophet. And for me to have to slice a piece, And for me to have to slice a piece of humble pie and admit that I was wrong on crypto's fundamental necessity in Western democracy. So fire article. I mean, he wrote, kind of his, coming to moment with the crypto and how he kind of recognizes the place for it. I thought that was very powerful, right? Because it's like I have a lot of respect for him and love Ruby on Rails. And
yeah, and that's like, again, it's like, this is like the awakening, or this is like what people call being orange pilled. It's like, at first you dismiss it and like,
what happened to your buddy? Why don't you just invite him? Oh no, you said we're gonna cancel out now. No,
I sent him the link, and I sent Colin the link too, but we'll see if they arrive. My kids are getting home too soon, and my wife has
Let's take a little break. Is that what you're
tolerating
saying?
of my kids, who today just had like an unbelievable energy about them, not for the positive. But yeah, we're probably gonna need to go keep running off some of that energy, and I got to check in with them and be present with them too. So we'll break it a little bit, but
awesome. So sorry, you said we're gonna take.
We don't know. Like in a little bit. I mean, so they're still on their way home right now. I just got a message that I think they'll be home, I don't know, in a little bit. But just to recap, like, huge news in Justin and liberals rescinding and revoking their fascistic Emergency War Measures Act, which wasn't grounded in reality or law. And so that's a win. They dropped this latest book, the Canada, Why Canada Doesn't Need a Prime Minister is its title. It's available for pre-order. It's going to go live on March 1st. I got a lot of work to do in the next 48 hours to get all the content all dialed and ready. And then the series is going to be a progressive series, including more people's voices into it. And I'll be dropping a link to fill out a forum for others to be able to contribute and add their thoughts about how Canada can be a prosperous, truly democratic, engaged nation and society. Yeah, I mean these are like all the angry things. Like, I wish we do we have any clips of can we play like some clips? Can we like play a couple clips of like
Pull me in
the
instead of
dance
pushing.
party and the positivity that went down?
Oh, I don't know if this counts as positive, but this guy was beat up, but then let go without any charges. I thought that was kind of positive.
Well, I mean they got these arrest figures.
Should we play it? Then I'll go to the dance parties after.
Man,
I don't think there are any dance parties now, are there? I think the parties are done, dude.
Yeah, no, I've been fucked up. What happened? So, I was holding up peace signs. I was saying to everybody, hold the line at the big fucking event down there. I was right at the front, and I was basically targeted by them because they saw, okay, this guy is telling people to hold the line and whatever. So they got 5 cops come grab me and pull me in instead of pushing. They're pushing everybody. They pulled me in. They put me on the ground. So I rewind a bit. They already.
Anyways, we'll stop it because
I mean,
people
like,
can watch it themselves.
I like that story. I hadn't seen that, but okay.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep going.
You rewind a little bit before they grabbed me. They fed me a shot to the jaw. They prodded me in the stomach with the baton. Once they did that tug of war with me and pulled me in, I said I'm not resisting arrest. They threw me on the ground on my face like that. I started seeing fists coming in, knee coming in, knee from this side, fucking boom, 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 right? They were fucking me up. And all while that's going down, one of them takes this hood and wraps it around my nose and my mouth. So as I'm getting fed shots, I can't see them and I can't breathe. So I turn over the other way. I'm like, I can't fucking breathe. I'm yelling to the crowd. I'm like, I can't fucking breathe. And that's when they let me up. They got the cuffs on me and they let me up and they brought me over to the cops. Those cops took my name, all that shit, right? I get in a lineup. They bring me to this bus with other people that got arrested. They weren't roughed up like I was, but they were all in this bus with me, and this lady was coming up to everybody saying, "You guys have an ultimatum. You either pack up and leave, and we won't charge you, or we're gonna charge you guys and take away your vehicles, all this stuff, right?" So I said, "Charge me, like give me whatever," because I know they didn't have anything on us, and. So like, oh, okay. So they bring me over. They put me in the back of this solitary confinement vehicle. They for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. They bring me out to whatever police station is down Johnny McDonald Road, like an hour and a half walk from here. And then they just said, "You guys are good to go, no charges." And they gave me my stuff back. They pretty much
Did you hear
pulled
that?
me out like it's a big show, like I'm going to prison. When in fact I got no charges. But I got evidence, so we're gonna be.
And there are countless stories like this, countless, including we played this ex-sniper security guy, whatever, right, as well, or did I just share that with you privately, maybe? Anyways, so lots of. So I think that's a beautiful story, right? Because like, pink elephant in the room. We didn't talk about Tamara.
Right, Tamara.
Only like what 2 hours in Tamara, we bring up
still
like
in jail, and I saw some like there was some like some misinfo out there that saying I don't know it's something negative, but we don't even need to cover that. But no, like we got to get Tamara's got to get released. Like come on, folks. But I don't know. I like it's like she didn't hurt anybody. She helped facilitate this whole thing. But what did she facilitate? Canadians coming together to demonstrate and showcase their love for Canada and for freedom and for our Charter of Rights and for law and science and health. And she's denied bail, like denied.
That's what I wanted
bail?
to share. Yeah,
and like where like Pat King was like released on $50,000 bail that somebody put up too. And
Oh,
it's like,
was he released? I didn't even hear
well,
that.
I don't know. I think someone put up. They said the bail at 50,000. Someone picked up on it, but yeah, like for Tara to be denied bail is just atrocious. And again, it's like it's like Streisand effect on this. Need to be looking into into how it came to this, like the arguments, and like there's going to be a lot of legal challenges out of this. One of the issues though is that the legal system is like completely wrecked right now. Like, I got a ridiculous ticket in Ottawa for like looking at my phone at a red light. I got a $700 ticket in Ottawa in, when was that? It was like early 2020, and I was like, I'm gonna contest this, and so I like, I filed the contest to it, and then COVID happened, and they just shut down the courts. They just shut it down, and then I got a call like, a couple months ago from someone like, are you still like gonna fight this? Like, you're convicted of this. I'm the crown prosecutor. I was like, well, are the courts open? Like, courts aren't open. It's like, do you want to pay this right now, or do you want to like, bring this to court? I was like, well, I'll bring it to court, obviously, because it's a ridiculous charge, and no, we should talk about it and like have a time of expression, because $700 is a lot of money, and you guys are sick and twisted. I didn't impact anybody or hurt anybody. I like, this is completely ridiculous, and there's like, so there's a year and a half of backlog in the courts already, and now they're just like adding it all on heavy. So yeah, it's
Ready for the next one?
What do we got here? Oh yeah, this was great, right? This is what, France or Italy?
Paris, it seems. After 32 weeks of protesting, they just decided to turn around and go the other way.
Yeah, let's just walk with them. let's walk ahead.
No. They just stopped fighting them. Look. You'll see in a second. They're throwing all their things, their armor, their shit in a pile.
Really?
They're supposed to hold the line, dude. They're not supposed to walk with the people. Something is wrong, by the way. I disagree with this. I definitely think they should be putting batons across people's heads, and horses should be running over the people right now. This is not right. I don't agree with this stance.
I mean,
this
it's
looks
like
too peaceful to me. This is too peaceful. I don't like this.
I really kind of want to watch the anonymous video.
Oh God, no! That scares me. Those masks scare me. I think that scares a lot of people.
Well,
it's like your Super Bowl video.
If you haven't seen the anonymous video, if you haven't seen it, I highly encourage watching it. It's 15 minutes. It's really.
Have you seen the new Super Bowl?
It's really
one?
pointed and powerful.
Good. So bad, so good and bad. Did you see the new Super
No,
Bowl?
I didn't even watch it. I'm not even going to expose myself to that. I don't even. I mean, I can like watch it from like a protected point of view, but it's. I don't even want to like give it energy.
Well, you loved it. I mean, not loved. You wanted to see the other one, right? And
I know, but I just don't even.
Okay, it's up. It's up. We're gonna do a 2-hour zoom in on. No, I'm kidding. We're not going there. It's so terrible. Okay, where do we go next, Kyle? Are we killing this? You said you kept saying you have some people coming, something happening.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like Gary's gonna be here, so and I don't know. I'm good. We killed 2 hours.
You want to leave on a funny one?
Yeah, let's show us what you got.
He's here. Look at that. Right when we were about to
ask a question about outside interference to our democracy.
We'll give him a few minutes.
Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio is really bad, and the video is really bad as well. And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay. Let's the honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Mr. Speaker, that member was promoting open disinformation. That's not debate. We have to call out disinformation.
We're getting into debate again.
We can't even talk about these things. We're not.
The people have woken. Hey, Gary, buddy, we can't see you on video. Can you hear us? Earth to Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a drum roll, please? No, I'm just kidding. Gary's
if you could hear us,
join us soon.
if you could queue up a speech and be ready, I'd love to have a speech of
Your
some words of
energy.
wisdom. Yeah, it would be like really great.
He's figuring it out.
In the
hopefully.
meantime, here, check that link out, Sonny.
Sure. Oh, Lord. We're going to do this. 15 minutes. Oh, no. See, these masks scare me. Oh, God. Do we have to do this? This is like the Sugar Bowl.
All right. No worries.
No worries. We don't have to do it?
We don't have to do it.
Thank
Gary,
the
what's the
Lord.
show about today? We
Later.
talked about how the
It was such a good show.
Why don't you jump on and we'll talk. But with the show about today, we've been talking about the emergency orders being revoked. We've been talking about high vibrations. We've been talking about the news of the day. We've been talking about Bitcoin. We've been talking about crypto, El Salvador. We've been talking about DAOs, Canada, and so many other things. I feel like people want us to play that anonymous video, but it's long. I just watch it on your own accord.
Can we just watch it? Yeah.
Just watch it on your own accord. If you want to know where it is, Theo Fleury posted it on his Twitter 23 hours ago, and he said, "Remember, I said the truth is coming out, and they can't stop what's coming. Here's a little bit of that truth." And basically, Anonymous calls out Justin and Chrystia Freeland and the New World Order and the importance of the truckers and what they're doing and peaceful assembly. It's really well written. It is a very powerful message and statement. It is not, they're not condoning violence. They're not promoting hate or division or anything like that. They're saying, Canada, you got to stand up for this. And coming from Anonymous, it's interesting, but it's worth watching and listening to. Like everything is worth kind of listening to, and come to your own kind of conclusions or views about it as you see fit.
Fair enough. I just yeah. So Gary's still trying to figure his shit out. We'll give him a few more minutes. Hopefully he's going to join us soon. What else you got for us, Kyle? We're on
again,
2
it's
hours and 10 minutes right now. Let's go.
So Thomas, you want to see that video again? We can't post the link on here, but it is on Theo Fleury's. Here, I'll put the link to the tweet, and you can.
You really want to see this, man?
Well, no, I'll just show you the link. So
and how do you know it is anonymous? Like when you say anonymous, it could be anybody. It could be this 12-year-old kid in his basement. Like where? I mean, I would
say that it wasn't that. It's pretty well written, but again, it's there are a lot of white hats out there, and serious OPSEC people who keep low profiles but are heavily involved in the activist community.
I mean, Bitcoin Satoshi is anonymous.
It was not me that made the video, and I do not do that. I'm doing everything in plain sight. Encouraging people to check it out and watch it. But yeah, Theo Fleury's Twitter is where you can kind of find that. Yeah, big news. They pulled the Emergency Act. Any update on what's his name? Does anybody know what that guy's name is? Who's walking across the country? He's supposed to leave on the 20th, so he should be 3 days into it. Is there any way to track the story of that hero who's walking from Vancouver to Ottawa? Sonny, do you remember what his name was?
No, we did a little coverage on him, but I did see some footage. I mean, if I see it, I'll pull it up here. But yeah. I did see some footage of him, leaving Vancouver. So it's like a modern day Terry Fox type of thing, right? Really, really fascinating. Yeah, definitely ignited, some sort of some sort of like, I don't know, energy, like around the country for sure, around the world. I'm very curious to see where this all goes. You know what I mean? Because as I was telling you earlier, is like there's just so much that happened in the last 2-3 weeks that I think it's gonna take a little bit of time for people to kind of like digest, number one, and then talk to others, number two. But I encourage everyone to pick up the phone and call people, because I think this is the time when, you know, connecting with others is really, really important, and just, you know, just letting them know you care about them, and also just being there for them. And, you know, I don't know, just I think people just need to connect, if nothing else. And so I don't know, I'm excited, man. Like I'm hearing at least March 1st, you know, all these things are going to be lifted. I was like, oh my God, I can dream about going to a gym again and all this stuff. A part of me feels like it's maybe temporary, and I'm getting excited maybe for no reason, because, you know, it feels like they're going to leave with the provincial mandates and then like introduce like federal ones or something crazy, right? And I could totally see that happening. And I don't know. We'll see. So what did you guys share here?
So check out this guy, James Top. That's his name, James Top, March to Freedom. Hashtag James Top.
Okay. Do you see my screen here? I'll share it.
Hi.
Hi. He's walking. All right.
150 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, we're going strong here, dude. We're about to break 2.5 hours. This is pretty wild. We're halfway there to our longest ever episode. I like this one too. The homeless of downtown Ottawa now have 1,000% less soup kitchens and 90% more crime. Woohoo! Win.
Gary, are you there? Can you jump in? Because here.
I think he's having maybe challenges, no, with his. I'm assuming. Or
well,
maybe
I mean, I would love to talk about how we can support James. So check this out, Sonny. This is let's look. He looks like they have an RV that's kind of going along with him, and they're walking. So he's got a support vehicle. Like I would really consider this is a great opportunity to join James out there as part of a once in a lifetime excursion. To walk with him, to bring music, to dance with him. Like I feel like if people were dancing across Canada, that'll be one heck of a message. He's got a support vehicle too, from the looks of it. So, yeah, and it's like, you know, and as he goes, like, you know, understanding where he's going to be. He's in Chilliwack, BC. So, you know, how far he started in Vancouver and he's in Chilliwack. I think this is a serious story to follow. It's 120.
Hey,
he's already gone 100. He's gone 100 kilometers so far. So he's gone 100 kilometers of the, you know, Vancouver to Ottawa. How far is that walk? So it's 2,891 miles. Oh, that's wrong Ottawa. That's Vancouver, Washington.
Would it be weird to show some footage from that day?
From which day?
The day.
Walking? Oh God, let's see this.
For those who might have missed it.
Yeah, again, but it's like I'd rather see some of like the, because again it's like I don't really want to focus on this. This was the security guards coming in at the end of the festival to clear it out, versus like the energy and the high vibration. I know, Sonny. I know.
No, we covered all that too. Look at
No,
this.
I know we
face.
covered all that, but now this already happened, and like so I guess this
And
is
we
our show
didn't
covering
cover it.
this. This
Exactly.
like watch them. They're like towing.
I'm just
this
saying,
vehicle.
dude. Sometimes you gotta face your the darkness. And I don't want to, dude, but this all happened, right? It was on Rebel News. It's on the internet. We're not doing anything that's, whatever. But like, people need to see this.
Look, it's like ripping off the back bumper, knocking over a sign as they're like.
And they were having a hard time, as we reported, getting trucking. What's it called? Tow trucks, right?
Yeah.
So they had to enact the emergency order or whatever, partially to make these guys do what they needed to do. For your health! For your health! Look at this person. Using a motorhome in a city. What a crime. Exactly. These people have lost the plot. Yep. Probably already done somewhere. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to do a live stream over the last few days, because this what I'm covering in like 2 minutes is essentially all this craziness. But okay, anyways, it is what it is, as Max Holloway would say. Hey, we lost Gary, unfortunately. I don't know.
All right, he's gone.
He's in and out, just like the wind. Well, too bad. Maybe next time we'll get him. You want to do a live stream on aliens? I don't know anything about it. Give us some resources. We'll do some research and get back to you. I mean, I don't know. I know nothing about aliens except for what I've seen on movies. Yeah, this really, I mean, again, I don't mean to like make it dark or whatever, but this really bugged me. This really bugged me.
From having our freedoms back.
Like, look, no name tag. Look. I'm gonna pause.
No
this.
name tags. Like, and what's that on there? What's that on there?
I'm pretty sure in Canada they need to tell you who they are.
And what is that? What does that badge on the shoulder say too? Like,
can I just tell you something? The next time Justin does this, can you tell him to put flowers in these people's hands? Imagine, just think of how crazy that would be if all these people came with like flowers in their hands, right?
Well,
it's like,
I saw
flowers.
People were giving them flowers.
I saw that, and then them wiping it out of their hands. But like, where's the name tags? Where's the accountability? Where's the transparency? Look. Okay, stop, Sonny, stop. But anyways, I'm like, I feel like I'm back in a better mood. But I just thought, we need to kind of cover some of this ugly side. And it's kind of like it needs to be called out. No, I mean, if we don't, who else is? And it would happen. Everybody saw it. The whole world saw it. The whole world saw it. So I think, dark days. These last few days were very, very dark days for Canada. But sometimes I guess you need to go through that, right? For the world to really kind of wake up and see, a lot of my friends that were in that kind of middle ground, they were just like, dude, holy shit, the stuff you've been talking about, it all came true. Like, you don't need to like tell people about something that might happen. It actually happened. You can just send them a link. And so that's what's happening in this show. We're just showing you exactly what went down. And it was, I mean, this one broke my heart. This guy was just holding a Canadian flag in the middle of the road. Kyle, look at this. They're arresting him for holding a flag. Bro.
Man.
No,
Terrible.
I don't want this anymore. I want mercy.
Exactly.
I want out. I want out.
No.
I don't want this anymore.
But that's the challenge about when you're alone, you can get picked off like that. So don't be alone. Be with a group of people. Organize a party. Organize a celebration, a freedom party.
Let's everybody get together in Regina.
Today is a day. Like, get out there, celebrate, play some music, have
Kyle,
fun.
should we talk about that thing you and I were talking about before we talked before we went live? You know what I was telling you about, like getting together, or not? Not really. Not locally.
Well, I
but
mean, I think it's a really great idea to, like,
what if
for
the whole
people
country came
to get
together?
together. Well, I yes, and I would say like
In Regina, not Ottawa, Regina, or some random place.
Or like, take the slow road with James Top and like walk across, and let's make this into like, a radical
talk about
movement.
the chain, the hand chain thing.
Yeah,
that
I
you're
saw
telling me
as
about.
well. There was the hand chain. People were considering like across the entire Trans-Canada Highway from coast to coast. I mean, that's a heck of an undertaking to try and make that happen. But like, wonderful to try and do that. But again, that's really difficult to try and organize that level of coordination. It sounds like a good idea, and like, but it's going to be like, incredibly hard. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, it's like this happened, and it's so crazy, that you're not allowed to protest. Too much. It's like being in the Twilight Zone. Oh, I hope Tamara, man, I don't know. I hope shit gets figured out there, because it breaks my heart what they're doing to her.
I'm trying to even load up like the Freedom Convoy 2020, some of their highlight reels, because they had like some amazing highlight reels, and it doesn't look like they're opening. Maybe it's because they're so heavy, or maybe it's because they've been censored. But okay, here we go. Like, let's just put. Can you load up this for a second? Let's just watch a little bit of some of the action from the time before we sign off here.
This is what, Instagram?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Oh no. Oh God. Okay. I have to sign in? Do we have to do this now? Sorry. I just like Instagram is challenging for some reason. The other one you sent me I could look at. Why can't I look at this one? Oh, to view stories. Do I need sound? Maybe not.
I mean, sounds good too.
Is this like the videos that we were playing before?
This just the stories. Just
here we go. It might work now. Oh no, view story here. Oh, it's not gonna work because it's Chrome, and I don't know. It's just I have to log in.
Okay, Sonny.
They want to be. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing it, but I need time. I'm not. Let me see. No. I don't even know what my password is. Anyways, dude, yeah, this is so much here. Whatever. What are we playing here? We're losing the plot, dude. We're losing the plot.
No, I'm just trying to like, bring us.
No, I'm telling you, I
know. Look, it's fine. It's fine.
Brave, blah blah blah. I have to sign in. I don't know what my
figure
password
that out.
is. I don't want to figure it out on the fly. We'll figure it out. We'll bring it on the next show. What else? Anything else? Anything else you want to share? I think I kind of went through a lot of the main stuff.
How about that comment?
What?
10 years for mischief, they say.
I'm not gonna think of my password. Big convoy already started. Yeah, maybe do some more Q&A. That was more fun.
Is Give Send Go going to give the money back? Like, and what about like, investigating into the hack of Give Send Go and the doxing of all the people, and like, what took place there? Like,
so many people writing me right now and like messaging and just like saying everybody's waking up. Everybody's waking up. Is the Give Send Go money going to be released? I hope so. I don't know. I think the next few weeks will be really, really interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I don't think I mean I think there's some victories in all of this, but I think that there's a lot of there's still a long way to go, Kyle. I think it's just the
There
beginning.
is, and it's like, and again, when
It's
they push
just
us,
the
we have to
beginning.
create. And again, we're at 2 hours 27 minutes. We're gonna wrap this, but on
Let's do it.
on parting notes, yes, they have pushed really
Good
hard.
break.
It was an incredible 17-day kind of freedom festival. At the end, they brought in the security guards. They demonstrated. They got a ton of footage, a ton of media footage that will lower the vibration and get people angry and frustrated. But we need to just re-engage to that love vibration, to that higher vibration. Tell the stories of what actually took place on the ground. Like, sure, at the end of it, and those stories, but really tell the stories of what happened on the whole time, about people coming together, about sharing, about creating, and standing up for freedom. Go join local communities, come together, get involved civically in local legislation, in local affairs. Hold a party, hold a block party. Get speakers, be creative, unleash that inner artist within you. When they push, we're being pushed to create. That is how, we can, peacefully, demonstrate non-compliance to it, is through creating solutions. Again, Canada available for pre-order, short book. It's gonna be 12, 13 pages, really clear about the opportunity for liquid democracy. I gotta go. My kids are home. Sonny, thank you. Everybody, thank you so much for being on this. Great to do this, Sonny. We'll see you guys next time. Be
Love
around.
Trudeau.